like to see how we do. So everyone has a whiteboard, yes? Okay. So I'm going to work one problem, talking through a few things, and then we're going to take baby steps backwards on it. Sound like a deal?
Yes.
All right. So let's say we had this problem. Okay, so this is kind of a lot of meat and potatoes on this problem. Agree? What are those two vertical lines? What is that called? What kind of equation? Absolute value. Absolute value. Okay, so remember, absolute value is dealing with distance. Okay, but it's not dealing with distance unless the absolute value sign is all by itself. Okay. So the first thing is get okay. You guys okay over there? Okay. So get absolute value alone. So that means I'm going to add 6. You don't have to write this down yet. I'm just kind of refreshing our ideas. Okay, is the absolute value sign alone yet? No, there's a 2 out front. I'm treating that 2 brand new. Yeah. So we're going to divide each side by 2. That's going to cancel. Okay. My friends, is the absolute value sign alone? Is it all by itself? Even though there's something inside of it, it's all by itself. We're good? All right. Second step. Why are we not working? Go away. Second step. Is it equal to positive number? Okay, is the absolute value equal to a positive number? Is it 8 positive? Okay. The 8 is positive. That means we can solve it. If the 8's negative, what can you automatically conclude? If this was a negative 8 right here, what would the answer have to be? No solution. Okay? That 8 is the distance. So what it's equal to is a distance. Okay? So if that is the distance and it's positive, we have a positive distance. We talked about yesterday, we can't, if we walk to somewhere in the east building and then we walk back, we didn't walk a positive distance then a negative. We walked a total distance. Okay? So now we can go ahead and solve this. All right. All right. There was something that we brought up that was a brand new term yesterday. We called it critical value, and I abbreviated it with CV. What was the critical value? Close. Real close. Nope. -4. Okay, so in order to find the critical value, you look inside your absolute value. Okay? In order to solve it, you're just going to go x plus 4 equals 0. How would I solve the rest of that? -4. So x equals -4. Okay? This is not an answer. But this is what I'm going to go to the right and to the left on. Okay, so let's think about a number line. If I had -4 on this number line, still follow me? if I count this way 8, right there is my answer. So let's count it. Ready? Let me just make sure I have 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so -3, -2, -1, 0. So -3, -2, -1, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's one of my answers. Notice the critical value I didn't box in. It's not my answer. It's what I'm using to get to my answer. So what do I have to do to get my other answer over here? What do you think? Count how many ways? How much? How much? What was this? So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So right here is where this answer is. Okay, so let's double check. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so let's count it. -5, -6, -7, -8, -9, -10, -11, -12. So the answers to this question is x is equal to 8 and -12. Okay? So that is the deep meat and potatoes of everything. Okay, that would be like a big problem that we'd give. Yeah?
Would you be able to get like that same by just doing like the 2 separate equations?
You could.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right. So on your whiteboards, clear your whiteboards. So we're going to start baby steps. If I just had x minus 7, I want you to give me the critical value. Once you have the critical value, hold it up. So I can see it, please. Close. Real close. Correct. Seen 2 so far. Correct. Oh, wait. You got negative. Close. Yes. 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 Close. Yes. Yes. I like the fingers. Yes. 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 Okay. Yes. Okay. So, yep. So the critical value basically is me taking the very middle thing inside the absolute value once it's by itself and getting x all by itself. That's the critical value. Is the critical value the answer to an absolute value equation? No, it's just the guide where we're going to go to the right and to the left of. Okay? Does that make sense? Does everyone feel comfortable why that's a positive 7 and not a negative 7? Okay. Can I try another critical value? So what if we add this? I just want the critical value. So all I want is the critical value. Yeah, you solve it. Nope. Need to solve it. Close. Correct. Correct. I don't see your work, though. That's not correct. That's not correct. That's correct. Close. So think about what I did on the last one. I set that middle part equal to 0 and I solved it. Yes. Close. No. But it's close. Correct. Close. All right, so let's run through it and make sure we feel comfortable. Close. Yes. So I'm going to take that center part, ignoring the absolute value. Subtract 8, subtract 8. Divide by 2, divide by 2. So I get a critical value of negative 4. Okay? Okay? One more critical value, and then we'll go a little further. Is that okay? I just want the critical value. Let's see what you get. Okay, I think, yeah, I got them. That's right. Yeah, good job. There you go. Yes. Okay, show more work next time, but yes, yes. No. Close. Yes. Yes. Yours is correct. The negative 2 is correct. Yes. 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 Anybody else? Yes. All right, so just to make sure we know how to do this. So I take what's inside those absolute values. I set it equal to 0. Yes. Okay. So that was the first step. We're finding the critical value. But my friends, the critical value is not the answer when we're solving these, okay? I was just having us find the critical value. Okay? So let's try one. I want you to find the critical value. I want you to plot it. Plot it on the line. And then the answers. See if you can find that. Okay? So first thing you want to do is you want to find the critical value. Then I want you to plot the critical value on the number line. And then I want to see if you can answer it. Yes, your critical value is right. Do what? You can blame me, okay?
Critical value is correct.
Yeah, baby. No, negative on that. All right, let's take a look. So I am saying the critical value is negative 4. Do you agree? Blame me. All right. So next thing I want to do is this. Do you agree with that? Okay. Does my answer work? Will I be able to get 2 answers on this? Yes. And why do we know that? This right here is a positive number. Once the absolute value is all by itself, it's a positive number. So what am I going to do to get to my 2 answers? So I'm going to go this way 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's an answer there. And I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. My answer's there. Okay, so let's count it. Let's count it. Ready? Do I have 6 here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. All right. Negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2. Negative 5, negative 6, negative 7, negative 8, negative 9, negative 10.
be careful for the CB. When you're trying to find the CB, don't have it like x plus 4 equals 6. If you want to do it more mathematically like that way, you could do x plus 4 equals 0, because then you have to minus that 4 over. Or if you think about it, what do we have to plug in here to get this to 0? What's the opposite of 4? Negative 4. So negative 4 plus 4 is 0. So that's also how you can figure out the CB. So there's two different ones. Okay.
All right, let's try one more. All right, so I'm going to keep that one up, and we're going to try one more. Okay, I'm leaving the one on the left side open so you can mimic it.
And I would try this, guys, especially for people who didn't complete their homework and didn't understand it. I would practice this. Okay?
Slow coffee drinking. Hang on. I think it's it. I think you're right. Yes.
Yes.
What is what?
You can't just do like x minus 3 equals negative 7 and positive 7 and something like that.
So go add 7 to 3 and go 7 minus 3. Or 3 minus 7. Friends, will someone share with me what the critical value was? 3? So that 3 is not the answer, but we're going to use it to get to the answers. So how many to the right from 3 will I go? 7. So if I go 3 plus 7, I get 2. 3 plus 7 is? 3 plus 7 is? 10. And then I go minus 7. So what I'm basically doing is I'm going 3 plus 7. Give me 10. And I'm going 3 minus 7 to get? Negative 4. Good. There's my answers. Okay, do me a favor. Caps on tightly onto your pens, wipe off your boards, and bring them up here, and make sure your homework is out, please. Yeah, hurry up. Huh? Do what? 4 and 10. Okay. All right. Shh. Here we go. I'm on page 43, and I've already been asked to do number 4. So number 4, we have absolute value of negative 15 over 5. Okay. So if I just had negative 15 over 5, that gives me negative 3. But now I have the absolute value. So what's the absolute value of negative 3? Positive 3. Okay. So that's how you do problem number 4. And then number 10, you said it as well? Okay. Number 10. All right. Ready? First thing I want to find is the critical value. So I'm going to go a over 3 equals 0. Multiply both sides by 3. 0 times 3 is? 0 times 3 is? 0 times a number is? So my critical value is this. Okay, so on a number lines here. What am I going to do now that I know it's 0? What am I going to do to get the rest of it? So what I had been doing was this, right? So we're going to separate that back. The 4 of you find new seats right now away from each other. You got 10 seconds. You don't do it in 10. No, I said you all find new seats. And they are not by each other. Next time you move seats, guess where you go? To your dean. Got it?
Yes, sir.
All right, so now I have a question. I had a critical value of 0. I had this 4, and I went to here. Now let's pause there, right there for a second. If this was one of the answers, I should be able to plug it in here for A and make it true. Is 4 over 3 4? It isn't. So something different happened on this one that we haven't seen. Something different happened up here. What number would I have to plug in for A to make this absolute value true? Yeah, 12. Okay, now let's think about this. I love your 12. Okay, I think that's totally right. Now let's think about this. I have 4 here, but we're saying it's 12. So what really happened? How did I get 12 from that 4 answer? Yeah.
Common denominator.
Almost. Think about this. What would if I took this 3 right here and I went times 4, I get 12? So that might work. Okay? So let's think about this. I had this here. So I'm going to multiply this by 3, and I get 12. Because I feel really comfortable that 12 over 3 is indeed 4. Absolute value of 4 is 4. Okay, hang on. So there's something different that happened on this one, and we're just using a little logic. Okay, so let's go this way for 1, 2, 3, 4. This gets me to negative 4. And again, if I take that negative 4, this negative 4 here, and I plug it in here, negative 4 divided by 3 is not 4. Agree? So let's try and do that same exact thing. So we have a 3 in the denominator. So I'm going to take this here, and I'm going to multiply this times 3, and I'm going to get to negative 12. Now let's figure this out. Negative 12 divided by 3 is negative 4, and absolute value of negative 4? Negative 12 over 3 is negative 4. Absolute value of negative 4 is 4. Oh. So wait a minute. So we just discovered something that might be a little different that we have to take care of. We discovered something different. Because this was a little bit different, we had to add a little extra to it. So my answers to this problem are A equals negative 12 and positive 12. Both of those work. Now, but there might be another way that we might be able to do this. Division's the opposite of multiplication, right? So let's think, if we took the same problem, and let's say I had it just originally set up like this. That was the original. And we wanted to get A by itself. Is this going to work now for us to get to this as a solution? So you remember that whole idea of clearing denominators we've been working with? Might work here. I like it. What else did you see on page 43 that I can help you with? That's a goofier one. I don't know if I'm going to quiz on that one. 15? 13. All right. Number 13 is what that word problem says. Your friend says the absolute value equation, absolute value 2x plus 9 plus 7 equals 3, has two solutions. So your friend says that this has two solutions. Are they right or are they wrong? Well, in order for us to start working this, before I find the critical value, I'm going to do this. I'm going to clear things away from my absolute value. What can you tell me about this? It's negative. Can I have a negative distance?
No.
What's my answer? No solution. Okay? So once the absolute value sign is all by itself, once the absolute value sign is all by itself, I'm on page 43. Once the absolute value sign is all by itself, if it is equal to a negative number, you can stop work there and no solution. Now, the difference between the two is if I had this, difference between the two, this is an arbitrary question. Does this one have no solution?
No.
Yes or no?
Yes.
You're saying it's no solution because it's equal to -6, right? But if I get the absolute value by itself, now it's this. This now has two solutions. Okay? I'm not going to worry about working it out, but I'm just trying to point out to you. Sometimes they will convey a problem that appears that it might be a no solution because it's equal to a negative number. But if your absolute value sign is still sitting there with junk attached to it, they didn't clear away the stuff, it is very possible you might get it incorrect because you jumped the conclusion too quickly. Are there any other questions on page 43, my friends? Okay. Now, I do know that this is a much different thought process than we have dealt with. Okay? We have a small amount of notes today. I think there's 2 problems we work on. Okay? So if you would you turn to page 45 in your books, please? Page 45. Page 45. Okay, so these are kind of that same idea. So looking at problem number 1, it appears problem number 1 might have no solution because it's equal to a negative number. Agree?
Yes.
But what should I do before I determine that?
Add 10.
Add 10. Very good. Nice job. I'm going to add 10 to both sides. Okay, if I add 10 to both sides, I get this. Some cost $4. I have $10 in my pocket. Oh, 6. Okay, does this now solve? I'm getting rid of my guy in jail. Okay. All right. All right, our next step, now that we can solve it, what was the next step? Find the what?
CV.
Yes, find the CV. And sometimes you can look at it and do it in your head, but sometimes it might be wise to say, let me work this out a little bit. Remember, I'm setting it equal to 0. I'm setting it equal to 0 because that's how we find the CV. A critical value. So I get a critical value now here of -3. So think about it on a number line. If I had -3 here, what does this do in order to get my values? Yep, so I'm going to go this way. 6 means I'm going to go plus 6. So something costs $3. I have $6 in my pocket. So -3 plus 6 is what? 3. And then if I go this way, I'm going to subtract 6. So -3 plus -6 is -9. 3 times 9.
Hey, Sarah, can we have a CV as a fraction?
Yeah. It's not pretty, but we can have it. Okay. So question for you, friends. Let's pause there. This seems like all the work that we know how to do right now. So let's think about this. Let's take this answer right here and plug it in for x. So 3 times 3 is?
9.
9 plus 9 is?
18.
So I'm getting this from above. So that's going to give me 18 minus 10 equals -4. What? I guarantee there's a solution, but look at that. Something didn't work. Now, the reason why there's more space to this is the critical value is an important portion of it. But let me come down below. Down below, you can rewrite your problem. I believe this is the original problem, except I'm doing it in a purplish color, and they give it to you. So I'm still going to go the same exact way. Those cancel. So I showed up above that this isn't going to seem to work out. So maybe there's another way that we can chase this dog around a tree. Let's drop the absolute value and make 2 equations. So we have 3x plus 9 equals 6. Did I drop the absolute values on that?
Mm-hmm.
And then let's go 3x plus 9 equals -6. Okay? So notice here, one was positive, one was negative. You good so far? Let's see if we can solve this. What's -3 over 3? -1. Now, before I go work out the other one, I want to make sure this works. Okay, if I take this -1 and plug it in here, 3 times -1 is -3. -3 plus 9 is 6. Absolute value of 6. So I get 6 minus 10 is 6 minus 10, -4. Oh, cool. I got an answer. Hey, was that one of the answers I got above?
Yeah.
Oh, no. You remember? So sometimes after you've plugged these back in, sometimes you might realize that the critical value is working. I just haven't shown you all of the steps to get there. So this might be a simpler way to go about it. So I'm going to work out this other one. Divide by 3, divide by 3. Let's make sure that works up above. I got negative 5. So 3 times negative 5 is negative 15, plus 9 minus 10. Is that equal to negative 4? So that's going to give me negative 6. Absolute value of negative 6 is? Yes, that works. There's my answers. Okay. So let's sum up, and I realize we don't have a lot of notes. Let's sum up what we just kind of conjured up. Yes, we could go and solve this one as well, but let's do this. Give me an extra page. All right. CV works really well. But a few items missing for complex. Okay, when I say complex, if you had something like this, that's pretty complex. Or something like this, that's pretty complex. Okay? So the other option, bless you, the other option is solve, or not solve. Why is my eraser not working on my pencil? I knew I shouldn't lend it out. Get absolute value signs alone. Break into two equations. So it's equal to a positive and a negative component. Okay, so let's go a little bit further on that. That original problem that was on our book, let's see if we can work this with our new way. Is that equal to 16 in the book?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see if we can work this. Let's get the absolute value alone. So what should I do to get the absolute value sign alone right now? Divide by? Good so far? 16 over 4, I believe, is 4. Okay. Break into two equations. Oh, wait a minute. Break into two equations. So it's going to be equal to a positive and a negative. So we'll break into two equations. We'll drop the absolute value. So one equation is going to be this. 2x plus 7 equals 4. What's the other equation going to be? Yeah, 2x plus 7 equals negative 4. Okay. Solve it. Subtract 7. If I'm doing this right. Divide by 2. Same thing here. Notice I don't have a critical value. The critical value on that problem would have been negative 3 over 2. And that's where you're asking about the fraction. That's where it could get ugly. Okay. So let's full circle this. We've talked about how these are working. We talked about yesterday, we had a critical value. We were working with the critical value. But then we get to a point where sometimes the critical value isn't quite working the right way, and we are able to solve on one of the problems that, oh, I can see how the critical value is now worked, but it gets a little messier. So then this is a nice cleaner This is a cleaner way to do it for right now. So I'd say you are welcome to try critical values because it does work. I just haven't shown you every exact step. Because remember yesterday I said that critical value was a what topic? Yeah, it's a pre-calculus topic. So I gave you a little taste of it, but we're in CP Algebra 1. We're not in calculus yet. That's okay. So this is going to get you some good stuff. All right. So let's think about how we're going to explore this. I think page 47 and page 48 are great. And I think you can do all of them. Okay? I think they're going to work out nicely. It looks like we might have some new solution in there.
So let me clarify for people. Okay, when you have a non-complex absolute value, so like x plus 3 equals